This is a finger press. Well, actually it's parts and pieces to a finger press. It's actually made by Swag Off-Road. I ordered this 7 or 8 months ago, and I just have not had time to put it together. Well, now is the time. I have a little bit of free time, and we're going to assemble this and use it. Now, this press is designed to fit into the 20-ton Harbor Freight press. Now, you can buy this as a kit, as I did, where you weld everything together. You can also buy it pre-assembled, but it costs a little bit more, and what fun is that, right? Swag Off-Road makes different flavors of this. The one that I ordered is the 20-ton heavy-duty finger brake. They make a standard brake that's not broken up like the finger brake is, but this particular one is the finger brake. I wanted that on purpose, and we'll talk about why I wanted a finger brake as opposed to a regular brake after we get this thing together and we start using it. Now, step one is to take these guide rods and put them into the base plate. They need to be pressed in because it is a tight fit. And then you have these little pieces of metal, these little ears that also get welded on. So the ears are up here, not a big deal. And as you can see, these guys do not fit. I will chamfer the ends a little bit. That's going to help with the weld, but it'll also help when we press this down in there. All right, so I have these tacked on the back side and they're nice and square. I squared them up with a square. I have the ears tacked on as well. And I did lay this channel down in here just to see how well it's set, because eventually we're gonna have to center the crease here and then weld along the edges, but that's at a later step. Right now we need to put the guide tubes on the actual press itself. Now, I personally am going to stray away from the manual just a little bit. I do not recommend that you do that. You should probably follow it. But what I'm going to do is put the finger presses in the bracket, tighten all these bolts down, and then I'm going to take these guide tubes and I'm going to make sure that the center of the top of the brake is perfectly to the center of the top of the guide tube. And then I'm going to kind of spot weld them just in the corners, tack everything up and make sure everything fits okay. So now at this point, what we have is we have the guide rails are welded to the mount. The guide tubes are welded to the base. The base has the ears tack welded on. We'll go back and finish welding them and then kind of grind it flat to make it look nice. We need to weld this guide on top. Now this is the guide for the ram and the press. The ram will go down inside here. We just need to kind of put some weld right around here and right around here. Careful not to put any weld on this guy. And then pretty much the only thing left is the tray has to be welded into the base, which is that big piece of angle iron. So we're coming right along. It really has not been that much work to put this together. I'd say anybody with even just a teeny bit of welding experience could probably get this done in an hour or two. It's really quite simple. So now we have the collar welded on, and what we need to do is put this base down on the bottom. It's just a big piece of angle iron. There's a little bit of a wobble in it, and the instruction tells you if you have a little bit of a wobble to grind some of the point off of the angle. So we'll run it through the grinder. We'll lay this back down in here, and then we'll kind of spot weld different four corners here so it doesn't warp on us. And we'll check everything, and if everything looks good, we'll finish welding it all the way. And you're going to want to weld it all the way on both sides because that helps strengthen this up. So definitely don't skimp on that. So what I did was I welded a couple of inches at a time, just because the welder I use is just an old AC buzz box, and I think it's got maybe a 10% duty cycle on it. So I'd weld about maybe 2 inches, and then you can grind it down a little bit or break off the slag and then weld on the other side a couple inches. And I kind of worked my way around until I came together. They're not the prettiest welds in the world, but they are going to be very strong. They're very good. And then I took a flap disc and I took off any of the splatter that was on the inside, so it was a little bit smoother. But let's test it out. We're just going to take a little piece of metal here. I think this is, I'm going to guess it's definitely thicker than a quarter. So, you know, a little less than 2 millimeters. But we'll stick this in here. And I have a pneumatic ram on my 20-ton press. I did a video about that. I'll put in a link down below. But let's go ahead and press the pedal and see if we can make a bend. Take a look at that. We have a nice bend. I could have went a little more. Let's see if we can go a little more. See if we can get that bend a little bit better. And I'm going to run out of air. I purposely turned off the air compressor so you could hear me. Let's see if we can get more of a 90 out of this bend. And we went just a little bit over a 90. So this definitely will bend pretty thick metal without any problems at all. I'd have to get online. I'll put a link to Swag down below. Take a look down there and you can read the specs on it. The idea of a finger press is if you're building like a box, you might want to do another bend kind of like this and in another area of this, and you want to slip it on through. So like if you took a cut right on through here and you took this piece out, you could slip this back in there, do your second bend and still bend this up without this getting in the way. That's why they call this a finger press. And there's different sizes in case you need different configurations of length. But the whole point is you can get a very small area to bend or the entire width. You pay a little extra for the finger press, but it's pretty cool if you're going to build like a metal box or something. So that's kind of my quick and dirty review of the Swag Off-Road Brake Press. I have some things coming up where I'll be using this. I think you're going to want to see those, so don't forget to like and subscribe. I build a lot of things in my own little personal shop here, so please like and subscribe. Take a look at some of my other videos. Maybe you'll be entertained.